Hi everyone, Sean back from the SciFi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 6 of the USS Enterprise Dual Build Series from AMT. So in this one, everyone, we're going to be putting the saucer section together. I'm going to show off some really bad wiring that I did. I do need to get better at that, and then we're going to be closing everything up and starting on the priming for the kit. I'm not showing any of the priming. If you really are curious, it's right here. It's all done. Everything's looking really good. So it's a short video for this one, everyone. I'm hoping that the next Chapter 7 will be everything. We've done the kit a few times, so I'm just anxious to get this done and to talk about all the stuff that we learned. So actually doing these two builds simultaneously did help teach me a lot, because I got to see something that worked and then try something else right after, and everything was fresh in the mind. So anyway, hopefully you all saw the little 30-second teaser that was put out yesterday, and that is for a little secret project. A few people out there know. It's not like super secret. So if you see me on any other channels, you might know what it is. It's just like a fun little thing, but I can't wait to get to that one. I've already recorded the first video for that because I just got so excited, and I can't wait to get to it. It's going to be a big challenge, but it's going to be something really special, something a little bit different than what we've been doing lately. So anyway, you all have a great day, a great week, and we will see you down the road. This here is the saucer section, in case anyone hasn't figured it out yet. This here, guys, is the second saucer section. The other one is all done and wrapped up and drying up there. So I must apologize here. I am not by far a good organizer of wires for lighting. As you can see here, we have a veritable mess. I always start the projects thinking I'm going to make it nice and neat and tidy, and I start going, and before I know it, this is what happens. But the good news is everything works, everything's tied up. The only thing I wish I would do better, and maybe next time I will, is just, do these things around the side, make the wires longer, tie them around here. That would make things a lot easier for me, and it wouldn't tend to block a little light. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of messiness here. I will try to kind of clean that up a little bit, just to kind of push these things out of the way and make room for the lights. But it is what it is. It doesn't make a tremendous difference, but it will make one. And next time I do a project, I will make a better use of my wiring and take a little bit better time. So I must apologize for that. So, but I just wanted to show that here because I'm a mess. But the good news is that the only lights, on the main lights for this thing are around the side, and then in here on the top of the bridge. Underneath there's some, and there's some lights here that will shine down. There's some tape here in the way, but we'll make sure that's out of the way and everything's good. So the nav board is here. I won't go into explaining what the wires do too much here. Basically, we've got a main power and a negative. So there's the red and the black for the positive and negative that power the board. And then there's these other two colors. There's a white wire and a yellow wire here that comes out right there. And those control the navigation and the strobe effects. And then on the board, there are different, there's a jumper here, and you can put that in various locations to get different types of strobes and stuff like that. I have this set for, I think it is the Enterprise D, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look. It's on the third. If you have this kit, this is from Tenna Controls. It is the third jumper setting over, so if you want to do like a screenshot and set there, if you're following along with me, and you like where the strobes are going, I'll show that in a minute. Then that is the jumper setting to use. You just basically use what you like. You don't have to necessarily go by Enterprise E, Enterprise D, whatever's on the instruction sheet. You use what you like. That's basically what I'm saying. So anyway, everything's pretty much wired. What is wired up here, I got to do some final soldering work, get the wires coming through here, and then we'll be all set to do a test run and then close her up. So anyway, just wanted to say basically the layout for the lighting is very, very simple on this one. We've got two, if you can see them, and I'll try to make sure I tape this out of the way over here just to keep this from flopping around. It's fine over here. we've got two strips of 3 LED strip there, and 2 sets of 3 LEDs this way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 go this way, these 2 go that way, and so down here will illuminate up here into the main bridge. And there's also a 1.5 millimeter light right there that goes to light the bridge dome, and 1.5 millimeter that lights the sensor dome. And we also have a 30-20. Now you guys saw the technique that we've done where we have the strobe light with the shrink tubings with the fiber optic cable to hide all the flashing and everything, get everything, so the fiber optics touching the light. That is where is it? It's right here. So the light actually comes right out of there. It goes into the top of this dome. We did show that, I believe. So again, I'm very sorry about this messiness here. I'm not the best, so you don't want to copy this. But I will say everything is secure. Everything is shrink tubed or covered with electrical tape. There's no exposed wires here. It's just kind of messy. And the way I figure it, no one's ever going to crack this open and see it. The only regret I have is I should have made it a little bit cleaner and have the wires be more around the perimeter to prevent any light blocking. But I think we should be okay. We'll give it a test. And if it's really, really horrible, well, I'll redo it. Won't like it, but I'll do it. Anyway, okay, so that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and finish the soldering here. I'm going to take the soldering iron and just, solder these tips. They're just twisted around there. They're not really secure yet. And then we'll wire some long wires through the hole there that we drilled, and then we'll test it out. And the other little thing, the lighting scheme. So we've got a strip of 3 here, a strip of 3 here, and a strip of 3 here. These 3 illuminate the windows on the side of the saucer. These 2 here, as well as these 2, are going to illuminate where Mike wants to have the lights. So there's 4 white stickers on this kit that are supposed to be lit, or if you look at the 350 scale, they're lit on the top. So Mike wanted to know if we can get that illuminated. So we're going to give that a try. I'm going to make some custom masks, and we're going to just not paint over that section of it, so when we turn on, those will light up. It should be kind of cool. We will test that out. All right, guys, so I'll be right back, and we'll do a little lighting test. Stand by. Okay, everyone, a few minutes have gone by, and we are ready to display the testing. Now, I've already tested this, so you won't hear me swear or be upset or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and fire it up here. And there you can see it is bright, as you can tell. So you can see here where all of our tape is. You can see the wire going around. You can see some of the, I think these are the LED strips. You can see some of the electrical tape things. But all is well, because the lights that we are trying to illuminate are on the side of the bridge here, on the front here where these lights are, and also right here. So we've got these 2 LED strips of 3 are right here and right here. It looks like I have a little bit of a wire there going, but that should be fine. I'll just move that over and tape it to a dark area, and then everything's good. So we'll be making some masks out of this right here, and I'm going to make them to be the same size as the decals that go on the top of the ship. So I'm going to bring in another model here that you can see. So we have got these lights. These are supposed to be lights. So there's white spots right here. These are all decals that we're going to make masks in that size, so that when we turn on the ship, they will illuminate a nice warm yellow glow. I thought about doing pure white, but the thing was that we're using warm whites to illuminate the windows. So if I had to put straight white LEDs here, I would have had a little offset. These back here would have been yellow. These up here would have been white, and it would have been looking a little bit weird. So anyway, we've got some nice blinking going on for the nav lights. Now these are the 3020s. They're not 0805s. I've switched to using the 3020s for this kit because you can see they're a little bigger. They fill the holes that we drill, and they give a nice bright white. The reds of the 0805s seem to be a little bit too dull. We also have these nice red lights here that we've put in on the side. These are new features for the kit that well, not new for the kit, but they're not normally included on the kit, these holes. So I drilled those. I also drilled 2 little holes here. There are these neat little portholes here, windows on the Enterprise, on the BC deck, that don't really show up well on this kit. So I drilled those, and we're going to fill those with that clear cement here that we have somewhere. It's just out of sight right now, but it's that one that looks like the tester's one. Now I'm going to have to find it. Oh, there it is. It's this one here. We're going to use this one for the windows, but and I think I drilled a couple in the front. So anyway, we are good to go. We got a nice bright white LED or SMD here for the navigation light. So you can totally tell the difference here between the warm white and the bright white here. We've got a nice bright white here for the bridge light, as well as underneath for the sensor dome, and that's looking good. We got the nice white flashing nav lights on the bottom. And then the last thing here is these 2 bright white SMDs here. These are 3020s, and these are going to illuminate the impulse engines. Nice bright red that will paint those. I've already got that impulse engine masked off, and it's ready to be glued in here. So anyway, yeah, it's a nice test there, you guys. Whoops. There we go. I just knocked the wire. So I'm just going to make sure I tape these 2 wires over here, and so they don't interfere with the light. But over here they look good, in here, and everything's good to go. So we're going to proceed. The lighting test is a success, and hopefully you like what you see, even though you didn't. Hopefully you didn't like what you saw on the inside, but I don't. I'll get better at it. I gotta do better. It's like when I start, it looks nice and neat, and then as you start adding lights, you realize you got a nest going on. So I need to improve myself on making that a little bit more neat and tidy, just to do it. That's my next goal. I will. So anyway, guys, turn that off to avoid any crossing of the wires here, and I'm going to go ahead and close this guy up. As you saw here, when we do close it up, we'll just turn on this light here. When we do close it up, we're going to, put a generous amount of glue all the way around. Get it nice and flush as much as we can. Now these kits do tend to overlap a little bit, so we will have to sand some. But then once we do it, we're going to use the same technique we did to tape the engineering section, where we hold it together, put a piece of tape on, pull it really tight, pull it out hard, and then secure it and go all the way around. About 8 pieces of tape will do it. I did this last night, so it's ready to take off, and I can start sanding this down and really getting these seam lines taken care of. So all right, so we are really moving along here, everyone. Stand by. Okay, folks, so we have 2 complete saucer sections ready to be primed and painted. So we're just going to take a look here. Now, we did already show you the testing of the lighting, so I have yet to put the mask on for the lighted effects here that the one chip needs. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this. Now, the sanding came through really nicely, and on this kit, you guys, you know what I did? Never done it before with a kit, but I might do it again. I used an orbital sander. I have a little DeWalt orbital sander, you know, the kind that have the round sanding discs, and set that with a 320 sandpaper and the sandpaper disc at 180. Well, I'm sorry, I started with 180 and then I went to 320, but the 180 just knocked down. There was a couple edges here that were really hanging over, and it did a really good job. I think I will use it again on other kits if I have a chance. So I was a little afraid that it would be too fast, too rough, but it worked out just fine. It knocked down the major pieces, and then I went through with the finer sandpaper that we have here, you know, different grades of that, and then just kept sanding it down. Gave it 1 coat of putty all the way around, just to fill in any seam lines that I might have missed, even though the sandpaper seemed to get rid of all of them, but you never know. There's always a little bit like in here, even though you can't feel it. If you could see the little line there that the putty gets into, you would have seen it on the finished paint. So we should hopefully not have to put any more putty on, but you never really know for sure. So we're going to give this a nice coat of white paint, white primer, and get going. Just a little bit of a note here. I did go ahead and put some mask over these little holes. Now these are where the lights are going to come to illuminate the bridge as well as the sensor domes here. So we put a little bit of that vinyl over there to mask it to prevent any paint getting on the light. And then I went ahead and put the solar res on the nav lights there and made it flat and smooth, and then I just sanded it down so it would be nice and flat. And then we'll come through with the solar res at the end of it and put a little bit of a dome, just a tiny drop on the top to give it that dome effect. And then of course, chip off any paint or anything that gets on. Like we've got the little light here that we put on here for the little strobe effect light, which I did see in the comments. Someone said this apparently is supposed to be the turbo lift, which is interesting. I think it'll work well as a dome flashing strobe light. So never knew that about the ship. So it was really interesting what we find out. Thanks to all of your nice comments out there. But anyway, yeah, it's ready to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and prime it. There was one little thing I did want to call out. There is right here, you see a little bit of heavy putty. There's going to be a bit of a bump here because when I put the top of the saucer on, inadvertently a little bit of the wire for this nav light was sticking through it, and I've been very reluctant to sand it too much because it will just kill that wire, and then it will just have a dark we won't have any light flashing there. So I just put a little putty over there, lightly sanded it. I mean really lightly. So there is going to be a little bit of a flaw here, but I'm just going to have to live with it because I can't get that. If I get it perfect there, I really risk ruining that light. So note to self, be careful, and note to you all when you're doing these, just make sure you tape down your wires with some electrical tape or something on the inside before you set this down. And then if the electrical tape fails later on, that's fine. The wires will just jiggle around inside, but at least enough to keep from any wires sticking out the side. I might be able to sand it down a little bit more, but I'm really not sure. We'll see how it turns out on after we prime it and how it looks. So anyway, a little bit of a flaw there. But otherwise, really turned out good. The orbital sander really took care of the sanding here very fast. It was about maybe 5 minutes per item here, and otherwise it would have probably taken me 20 or 30 minutes of sanding to get it down, or even longer. So orbital sander, I will definitely use it again in the future on surfaces like this where I can just kind of lay it down and go to town. So, all right. The only other thing I've done, we wiped it down after all the sanding with some tack cloth with these tack rags here. They're really good for getting the dust off, and blew it down a little bit with the compressed air. And then I think I might go even with some ISP, some alcohol here. Isopropyl, I think I've got some 91%. So I'll just wipe down the top here, and then down here just the major areas to where we have, just to get any oil and any extra residue off. I'll just lightly wipe it down with that, and we'll be good to go. So we will see you guys really soon. All right, everyone, we're getting ready to close up the main hull here, and just wanted to talk a little bit about what we've done for this cool little light here on the top of the hull there. And what we did here, I just started with a small drill bit and just got bigger as we went forward, and ended up just drilling a nice little round hole right through there. Started small because I didn't want to like drill through with a big drill bit and split this thing. So very small, just got a little bigger and a little bigger, and just kind of got the Dremel tool and just worked it around like this in a circle very slowly, and we ended up with a nice shape there. And then took the X-Acto knife, stuck it through the hole there, and just cleared out some of the debris. And then underneath here, what we've done is just cut out a little piece of this very thin styrene, and you can see here, this is what I cut that out of for both ships, and just glued that in there with some model cement, and then just tapped it down with a little CA glue just to hold it in place while the model cement does its magic. And so there we go. And then so there we are with the hole for the light, and we're just going to fill this here with some solar res once everything's dry. And and you know, everything's painted. We can just fill it with some solar res, and then it'll be just a beautiful little light there, a dome, and it will illuminate very nicely. So there's that, and we've done it on both ships there. So here's the other one right there, and they both look really nice there. So we're going to be closing it up here. Now I just want to point out, as you can see here on the ship, we have no lights here. There's no lights there. There are just some in the neck there that we've talked about. All the lighting for this is going to be coming from these 2 strips of 12 warm white LEDs. And then there's a strip of 3 white light here that are going to shine up in to illuminate the little thing we just talked about here, that little dome light. I don't know what that light is, but there it is. And then so we also have a strip of 3 white LED here that is illuminating the little window there for the shuttle bay. So it's very bright, a little overkill, but that's fine. That will also help illuminate the 3 fantail lights here. Hopefully that will turn out really good. We have yet to find out. It looked good so far, but right now I just don't know. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna close it up here. We've got these wires here, nice and tidy. Just the yellow positive and negative there from each nacelle that's coming to a head here, with extending out a couple inches here from where the main deflector array is. I probably should have gone a little longer with these, but it should be fine. I always seem to make these a little short for whatever reason. And then we've got these here that are extending out here for the main deflector for these lights, as well as the power for the strobe lights here that we have that are hooked up through this fiber optic wire that we talked about in the earlier section. Now there is this little very thin black wire here. You can see that. Now this is going to connect to the navigation board wire to control the strobe effect here. So the negative wire for the strobes goes to the nav board. The negative wire for the regular lights that are just always on are themselves there. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So just as before, we're going to be putting a liberal amount of glue all the way around here, and as well as this side here, and pushing that together, make sure all the wires and everything are out and there. And then we're just going to prep some tape as well. So we're going to have some frog tape prepared here, like I've got right here. I'm going to do about 6 or 7 strips, maybe 3 or 4 on each side here to really tamp it down. I'll have those pulled and ready to go before I glue it. So I'm not going to document the gluing part. Pretty much just suffice it to say, just make sure you give a liberal amount on both sides there. So you want some squishing out so you can sand it down, and then once everything is dry, then we'll go ahead and sand everything down, get rid of the seam lines. And what I think I'm going to do also for this one, you guys, I might just sand down, if I can, all of these window bumps. So there's like kind of raised areas here where the windows are. I might just sand them all down. I'm not quite sure yet, because it's really hard to get these masks, because we're cutting these out of the that vinyl stuff that we have. It's really hard to get them exact. So we'll find out. We'll see. But yeah, everything's good to go, and she's really coming along really good here. So we're going to glue that together and let it set overnight, and we should have some progress and get ready to really paint this ship properly very soon. So stay tuned. Hey everyone. What you are looking at is not a mistake. So what we have here is some of the vinyl stuff that we're making the window masks out of. And I'm going to hold this up here to the camera just to show you, so you can see right here, hopefully, that there is a thin strip here that I cut. There it is, focused. You can see that thin strip. I just used a straight edge and cut that. And so now those are going to be the windows, and right now I'm pretty much done. This is the last side of the ship. I've done all the other sides of the ships here, and I'm just placing the windows. And I wanted to just document here what I'm doing. So before I get to that, I want to say this part of the hull, the bottom part, not the neck, but this part, I did sand off all of the window grooves. So the kit has these little these little you can see there right here. They're kind of raised areas on the styrene where the windows go. Now down here, because I had to sand so much to get these seam lines to go away, I just chose to sand off of those raised ridges on this part. I didn't touch it up here because, well, I just didn't do it. Kind of an experiment in one way, but in the other, I just I figured I could probably just put these things on and it wouldn't make a difference. But anyway, be that as it may, I just it might have been just a little bit too difficult. I didn't want to risk messing up any more glue than I had to, because to be honest, one real quick thing, I know I did say I used the orbital sander. Now that did end up loosening the glue connection here in the front of the ship, so I did have to kind of put that together and reinforce it, and then put some more putty and sand it. So lesson learned: if you use the orbital sander, just be very careful, very easy. Don't press too hard, and don't let it vibrate too much, because the vibration did kind of loosen it up. Everything else is fine though. It worked beautifully. Everything's holding solid. So there's that. So let's just show you here. This is really easy to do. So I've got this thing cut, and I've got here the X-Acto knife. Now what I'm going to do is just take the knife, and bear with me, I have to look over, and I'm going to put it about there. I'm just eyeballing these things, and then I cut it with the X-Acto knife, and it usually will pick right up. So there it is. Now I'm going to go down here and place the window approximate to where I want it. It's about right there. This one is a little slanted there. You can kind of see I didn't get a great cut on it, but well, now it disappeared. That's the problem with these things. They will stick. So let me get another one. They'll stick on your finger is what I'm saying. There we go. There, that one came off nice. And I'm going to put this one about right. About so. Okay, just make sure it's kind of lined up. I'm not pressing too hard with the X-Acto knife because I don't want to poke a hole in it or cut it anymore. If you need to, you can also move them around with your dental pick. Hopefully you all have one by now. The windows are a little bit hard to approximate perfectly to scale, so you just kind of have to guess. And also the windows that are etched in here, I think, are a little too big, but you know, it is what it is, as they say. So you know, you have to make a couple decisions that aren't maybe exactly to what you see on the screen, but that's okay. And then of course you want to try to line them up. These are pretty good there. It's really hard to get them perfect, and you know, if you mess around with these too much and keep taking them off, they're not going to stick well. And you got to remember, these things, since they're not exactly the size, this is not a kit where we didn't order these things. I'm making these by hand, so you can't remove them and then replace them later on. So like for instance, when we're working with the 350 scale Enterprise, you can order these vinyl kits, and they give you plenty of window masks. And what you do is you do a primer coat or two, take the masks off and reapply them so that you get a nice crisp application. Unfortunately, you can't really do that with these guys, so these have to last, these masks. You know, if one falls off, yeah, you can replace a couple of them here and there, but in general, when I've done this a few times now, one mask is usually okay. Sometimes you gotta fix something here and there, but all in all, one will do as long as you press down on it. And also, you want to make sure that you wipe your kit down with some isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, before you continue. You want to get all the sanding dust off, your oils from your hands. You want to get those things off so that these things will have a nice bond to the model. Okay. Again, I had the screen grab that I taken the screenshot, and then right now I'm referencing the other ship that I've already done. I'm looking at it over here, so I'm just kind of matching as best as possible to what we did over there. And I think it's coming out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm getting pretty good at it. You know, when you do these, especially when you're doing 2 ships at once and you get on your 4th side, you end up doing an okay job, I would say. So, okay, anyway, that's it, you guys. I'm not going to document all of these. I have a few more to apply, and then I'm just going to go ahead and prime. The only other thing to call out that right here is that on the nacelles here, I do have some paper here that I kind of wadded in there to protect there. This one fell out, so you want to make sure you cover your lights there before you start priming, because your especially your black to light block, you don't want to paint your lights black. Then you won't have any shiny stuff. Anyway, that's it. Okay, guys. I'll probably be coming back with these things all primed and checking light blocked, and we'll check it out, and hopefully everything will be good. The putty work seems to have gone well, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Okay, on to the next phase of the build. As you can see here, we have a black starship. So everything has been light blocked pretty well. There may be a couple of small light spots left, but the primer and the regular color that's going to go over this should take care of that. Pretty happy with it. So wanted to record this part here just to show you. So now that we've light blocked everything, you'll notice here, and if you don't notice, I will point it out to you so that you do notice. We've got some new masks right here on the neck, as well as some here on the body there. So now, obviously, these are not going to be lit because we've already backlit it or light blocked it, but we're putting these here to indicate for the darkened windows that are on the ship. So we'll throw a screenshot up here, and I'll move this over to the side so you can kind of see, well, this shadow's getting in the way. Generally, the pattern pretty much matches what we see on TV. I did have to make a couple of concessions, especially down here on this part of the ship. There just wasn't enough room. So I think these windows are, again, like we said before, a little too big for the ship proportionally. They're not overly big, but I think they are just a little too big, even the way they come with the kit. Not what I cut, but what comes with the kit. I believe they're just a little bit out of proportion, but that's okay. It doesn't ruin anything. So I did my best to align these. It does get kind of hard. Now the thing is, if you're going to be doing this, if you're building alongside of me here, these guys here, once you lay them down, that's pretty much it. You can't really move them around too much, especially if you have something sharp, because you will end up scratching away some of your light blocking, and you'll have a nasty little light leak there, or a light spot that is going to be difficult to get rid of and keep the window where it needs to be. So try to get your best. Move it around a little if you can. You can kind of do it with the dental pick. I definitely would not recommend using an X-Acto knife to move it around because, again, this will scratch the heck out of your paint. Now, you do want to use the X-Acto knife to remove the windows like we demonstrated before off of the vinyl if you're using that. So I've got some here. I got to cut some more windows. So I've got these two sides done here. Oh, one thing I did notice, interesting little thing. Look here on the back here. There are these little notches for the windows right there on the right side of the strut. Here, I only have one hand here. Let me see. Let's see if we can do this. So yeah, right here, the windows are on this side that I put, but I noticed there that there are some windows notched in there on this side. So it's really strange. I'm going to go ahead and sand them away because, again, there's no lights or anything going through here. I don't have to, technically didn't need to light block these. So I'm going to go through and get rid of these things if I can. I'm going to give it a shot, and then the primer will take it out. But on the pictures that I've looked at, these little windows are on the front side of the strut, not the back. So that might be a design flaw or something. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. So I will try to get rid of those raised guys because I want it to be accurate to the screen as much as I can. So I'm going to get rid of those if I can, and then we'll do them on on both ships there. So, all right, everybody, that is that, and it's moving along here pretty good. All the wiring's done, everything. The rear of the ship there, I did have a little bit of problems. with some light leaks there. So you can see some CA glue is in there. That's dry. It's just a little reflective. So we're going to have to probably use the Dremel tool to clear out where that window is. Probably won't be the prettiest part of the ship, but, you know, it's where we are right now with the build. So it's a tiny little area there, a lot of intricate work. So be prepared to have a very steady hand and very fine tools to get rid of that, any light leaks, and take care of that light if you want to put it in there. Okay, all right, on to the next section. Don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see you soon.